This is Antarctica, and yes, normal photographers can actually come here. Join me today as I give you my photographer's guide to the White Continent. Antarctica is one of the few places that truly feels like another planet. A continent of ice and mountains at the very bottom of the world, with no permanent population, no cities or towns, no roads, just an endless stream of subjects for us photographers. It's often described as the last remaining truly unspoiled wilderness on Earth. And there's a phrase that you will constantly hear when you visit: take nothing but photos, leave nothing but footprints. Despite its remoteness, more and more photographers are now taking the opportunity to visit this visual paradise. Now, I will preface this by saying it's not cheap, nor is it easy, but if Antarctica is on your bucket list, it is doable. And in this video, I want to show you how it actually works, where you'll go, what you'll photograph, what gear you'll need, and why, despite the cost, Antarctica is still one of the ultimate photographic destinations. Back in 2009, my wife and I were lucky enough to spend nearly 2 months sailing to and from the Antarctic Peninsula as cruise ship photographers and videographers. We were able to film and photograph the scenery and wildlife along the way. For most photographers today, the journey starts in Ushuaia, Argentina. It's the main gateway to Antarctica and the departure point for the majority of expedition ships. Now, this part is important. A lot of large cruise companies advertise Antarctic cruises, but many of those ships are simply sightseeing vessels. They are too big to allow landings. If you actually want to step foot on the continent, which as a photographer you absolutely should, you need an expedition ship or a small specialist cruise ship. These typically carry between 20 and 200 passengers and are specifically built for ice navigation and zodiac landings. That's what gives you access to the most remote locations that make Antarctica such an extraordinary place to photograph. But first, you've got to get there. Between Ushuaia and Antarctica sits the Drake's Passage. Sometimes it's calm. Usually, though, it's not. But from a photographic point of view, it's part of the adventure. Albatross follow the ship, dramatic seas, constantly changing skies. And then, one morning, icebergs start to appear on the horizon, and you suddenly realise you're here. Paradise Harbour is one of the great highlights of an Antarctic trip. It is quite simply one of the most beautiful places on Earth. Immense mountains, glaciers, icebergs, all perfectly combine to create visual poetry. This is the home to the Argentine Esperanza base. The red buildings are a gift for your composition against the white snow. It's also home to a massive Adelie penguin colony. Look for the beached icebergs on the shore. They often show off incredible deep blue colours that are a dream to photograph. It's quiet, it's peaceful, it feels a little unreal. Hope Bay is where things get busy, in the best possible way. Penguins coming and going from the water, chicks calling, adults stealing stones for nests. You also get that rare human element here as well, with nearby research stations, adding another layer of storytelling to your images. Telephoto lenses will come into their own here, letting you isolate behaviour and capture more intimate wildlife moments. And although you cannot approach the penguins, stand still and they will come to take a look at you. They are naturally inquisitive, and they know that on land, at least, they have no predators. To them, you're just an oversized penguin. One of the most beautiful sailing locations is Neko Harbour, and it's easy to see why. You've got towering glacial walls, calm water and a beach landing that lets you step straight onto the continent. This is where wide-angled lenses really shine. Huge landscapes, tiny people for scale, zodiacs in front of massive ice cliffs. It's also one of those locations where slowing down really pays off. Instead of shooting everything, you can focus on composition, foreground ice, reflections and telling the story of scale. Antarctic Sound is where scale really hits you. This area is known for heavy pack ice and massive icebergs, some of the largest you'll see anywhere on Earth. The photography here can become more abstract. Shapes, textures, deep blues, light shining through layers of ice. If you enjoy minimalist or fine art style seascapes, this place is a dream. These are a series of images that I took over a 2-hour period in Antarctic Sound. The ship beside the iceberg is actually collecting late arriving luggage from our own ship. It was a truly once-in-a-lifetime event. Wildlife is obviously a huge part of Antarctica. There are several species of penguins, seals, humpback whales and orca. There's also an incredible variety of seabirds, including the famous albatross on its journey south. But it's not just about wildlife. One important technical note is watch your exposure. All that white ice can easily fool your camera meter. Expose carefully and protect your highlights, but don't be afraid to slightly expose to the right without clipping. I have a video about shooting to the right and I will link that in the description. There are some serious practicalities to think about. First, the cold. Even in the Antarctic summer, daytime temperatures hover around -2 degrees Celsius, and there's almost always wind. This can push the wind chill factor down to very low minus levels. Layering is essential. Thermals, mid-layers, waterproof outer layers, good gloves, warm hats and proper waterproof boots. You will get your feet wet getting off the zodiacs. You also need to be reasonably fit. All landings are done by inflatable zodiac boats. You'll often be climbing out onto wet rocks, ice and uneven terrain whilst carrying camera gear. Your cruise ship may provide outer coats, but you'll still need to have plenty of layers underneath. Your camera bag needs to be comfortable and completely waterproof. Zodiac landings mean spray, snow and sometimes even waves. Batteries, they really die fast in the cold. Carry lots of spares and keep them inside your jacket close to your body to stay warm. However, avoid having other metallic items in your pockets that might short those batteries out. In terms of camera gear, weather sealing is extremely important. Pro level bodies will cope far better with sudden snow, spray and temperature changes. Keep plenty of camera cloths and lens pens in your bag. If a cloth gets wet, get out a fresh one. Lens wise, take a good range. A wide angle for landscapes and ice. Ultra wides work really well for moving zodiacs, especially when you get in close on growlers, the name for small icebergs. And something up to 100 to 400 for wildlife, perhaps even with a teleconverter. Finally, back up. You will shoot far more images than you expect. Bring multiple memory cards and some form of storage backup. The environment is harsh and card failure is always a risk. Let's be honest, Antarctica isn't cheap. For most photographers, it may well be the most expensive trip they ever take. But it's not a normal trip. It's a once-in-a-lifetime bucket list trip. You're paying for access, safety, logistics and the chance to photograph one of the last untouched places on Earth. And I'll leave you with one piece of advice. Sometimes just put the camera down. Antarctica is so photogenic that you can spend your entire time shooting. And only when you get home do you realise you didn't really stop to look. Look at one of the most incredible places on the planet. So take photos, capture moments, but also just stand there. Listen to the silence, sense the scale, because this isn't another location. This is Antarctica. If you have any questions on how to get to and photographing Antarctica, I will do my best to answer them in the comments below. Do check out my other photographers' location guides. I have a dedicated playlist for them. If you've enjoyed this video, a thumbs up would be amazing, a subscription even better, and I'll see you in the next one.